It will explain how heat supplied to a system is utilized by it, are separately in equilibrium with a third system C. You would have called this law itself as the first law. When there is change in volume, it means gas occupies more space, which is expansion of the gas. But it is framed as the zeroth law. Hello students, continuing my discussion on thermodynamics. In my today's session, we discuss two important laws defining laws of thermodynamics, what is called as the zeroth law and the first law of thermodynamics. If you recall my previous session, you have understood the physical meaning of thermodynamics. You have understood what is a thermodynamic system, and finally you have understood under what conditions thermodynamic equilibrium is achieved. So continuing further, the first thing that we shall discuss today is called zeroth law of thermodynamics. A very important question. The statement and explanation of zeroth law is always asked for 3 marks in the exam. So quite notably, we will try to understand the so-called zeroth law of thermodynamics. ತುಂಬಾ ಯೂನಿಕ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ ಹೆಸರು. ಇದನ್ನೇ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಲಾ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಲಾ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಆದ್ರೆ ಇದನ್ನ zeroth law ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. You would have called this law itself as the first law, but it is framed as the zeroth law. Probably after explaining the law, you will understand why is it called the zeroth law of thermodynamics. Now, first let us try to understand the statement of the zeroth law. The statement says, if two systems A and B, we are considering two systems, and to be very precise, two thermodynamic systems. If two thermodynamic systems A and B are separately in thermal equilibrium, we are talking about thermal equilibrium. I have considered two thermodynamic systems A and B, and they are separately in thermal equilibrium. with the third system C. These two systems A and B are separately in thermal equilibrium with the third system C. Then the systems A and B are in thermal equilibrium with respect to each other. Statement ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ absurd ಅನ್ಸ್ಬೋದು, but the understanding is very simple. So to recall this statement again, if two systems A and B ಎರಡು ಥರ್ಮೋಡೈನಮಿಕ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, which are separately in thermal equilibrium, the systems A and B are separately in thermal equilibrium with the third system C. Then the systems A and B are in thermal equilibrium with respect to each other. ನೋಡಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳೇ, ಥರ್ಮಲ್ ಈಕ್ವಿಲಿಬ್ರಿಯಂ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. When is thermal equilibrium achieved? Heat equilibrium. If the temperature of every part of the system is the same as the temperature of the surroundings. A system in a temperature, surrounding temperature ಗೆ ಸೇಮ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ, then you say there is thermal equilibrium. Now, I assume TA, TB and TC are the temperatures of the systems A, B and C. ಮೂರು ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಗಳಿದೆಯಲ್ವಾ, A, B and C. TA denotes the temperature of the system A. TB denotes the temperature of the system B. And TC denotes the temperature of the system C. Then what is the impact of this law? The law says if TA is equal to TC, andre system A is separately in thermal equilibrium with the system C. TA and TB equals TC. System B is separately in thermal equilibrium with the system C. Then TA is equal to TB. The system A is in thermal equilibrium with the system B. So, we clearly see that if two systems, as we say A and B, are separately in equilibrium with a third system C, then the two systems will be in equilibrium with respect to each other. ಸೊ ವಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ಲಿ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್. ಏನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತಿಲ್ಲಿ, ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಎರಡು ಥರ್ಮೋಡೈನಮಿಕ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಗಳು ಸೆಪರೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಮೂರನೇ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಜೊತೆ ಈಕ್ವಿಲಿಬ್ರಿಯಂ ಅಲ್ಲಿದ್ರೆ, ಯಾವ ಈಕ್ವಿಲಿಬ್ರಿಯಂ? ಥರ್ಮಲ್ ಈಕ್ವಿಲಿಬ್ರಿಯಂ. then those two systems will be in equilibrium with respect to each other. So if temperature of A is equal to temperature of C, which means A is in equilibrium with C, temperature of B is separately equal to temperature of C, B is separately in equilibrium with C, then temperature of A should be equal to temperature of B. So what do we basically understand from this law? This law gives us a whole good new definition to temperature. Now it says temperature is that physical quantity which decides whether any two given systems are in thermal equilibrium or not. Yake? If two systems are in thermal equilibrium, they should have the same temperature. So, an analytic for the definition of temperature, according to thermodynamics, temperature is that physical quantity ಏನು ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ whether the two given systems are in equilibrium or not. Now, why is this law framed as the zeroth law? My dear students, the first law of thermodynamics as well as the second law is framed on the statement and consequence of this law. This law is more fundamental, more basic than the first law and the second law. The proof of the first law, the proof of the second law is based on the proof of this law. Therefore, it is called the zeroth law of thermodynamics. Now, let us now try to understand the first law of thermodynamics from the understanding of the zeroth law. The importance of the first law of thermodynamics is it will explain how heat supplied to a system is utilized by it. When we try to follow up the first law, our basic attention is to understand how heat energy supplied to a thermodynamic system is utilized by it, and this is what we call the first law of thermodynamics. Now, the statement says the heat energy supplied to a thermodynamic system, the heat energy that is given to a thermodynamic system is equal to the sum of increase in the internal energy of the system and external work done by the system. Very beautiful. The first law says whatever heat energy is given to a system, whatever heat energy is supplied to a system, it is utilized in two ways. The first way is to increase the internal energy of the system. Second way is external work done by the system. So when I say work done by the system, what do I mean? I simply mean it is nothing but the expansion of the gas. So please to understand, when I say external work done, I mean expansion of the gas. Internal energy, sum of kinetic energy and potential energy of the molecules is called internal energy. So now heat energy na ಒಂದು ಸಿಸ್ಟಮಿಗೆ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಎರಡು ರೀತಿಲಿ ಯೂಟಿಲೈಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮೊದಲನೇದು ಹಾಗೆ to increase the internal energy. ಎರಡನೇದು external work done by the system. Andre I am referring to the expansion of the gas. Now I say dq is the amount of heat given to the system. dq is the amount of heat supplied to the system. du is the increase in the internal energy, and dw is the external work done. dq, amount of heat energy supplied to the system. du, increase in the internal energy. dw, external work done. Then according to first law, dq should be equal to du plus dw, and this is the mathematical form of first law. So what is dq? Amount of heat given to the system, amount of heat that is supplied to the system. du, increase in the internal energy. dw, external work done. So this is formulated as the first law of thermodynamics. My next attempt is to understand the first law when the pressure of the system is kept constant. ಈಗೇನನ್ನು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಂದ್ರೆ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಲಾ ಆಫ್ ಥರ್ಮೋಡೈನಮಿಕ್ಸ್ನ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಬರಿಬಹುದು? ಆ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ದು ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾಗ, pressure is constant, volume changes by dV. When there is change in volume, it means gas occupies more space, which is expansion of the gas. Now, work done. If you go back to your high school classes, what is the mechanical definition for work? Work is defined as force into displacement. Nenapuskoli, the most basic definition of work equals force into displacement. Now, coming back here, now pressure is kept constant, and we know pressure is force divided by area. Force per unit area is pressure, because I've used the term pressure. So force here is pressure into area. That is what I have written here. Force here is pressure into area. I say displacement is dx. Change in the position. Gas is expanding alva. Molecules display ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ. That is dx. Now A into dx I have called dV, which is change in the volume. ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಬರೆದ್ರು? A into dx. ಮಕ್ಕಳೇ, A ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏರಿಯಾ, whose dimensions is L square. dx andre displacement, length, distance, height, radius, all of them have the dimensions of length. L square into L cube, which has the dimensions of volume. Therefore, A into dx is dV, which is change in the volume. So if you observe here, the work done now is P into dV. So substituting that, first law can be written as dq equals du, increase in internal energy. Now work done is P into dV. Pressure is constant. There is change in volume. So this is called the alternative form of the first law. So the first law very clearly says, whenever some amount of heat is supplied to a system, it is used to increase the internal energy as well as to do some external work, which is, yes, the expansion of the gas. Now, coming to the limitations of first law, which is also called disadvantages, demerits of the first law. Right starting I told, heat has to flow from a hot body to a cold body, from a region of higher temperature to a region of lower temperature. Why? No information we have about this. So the first limitation is no information is given as to why heat has to flow from a hot body to a cold body. How much of heat is converted into work? I don't know. I simply say supply some amount of heat. It will be used to increase the internal energy and for the expansion of the gas. What percentage, how much of heat is converted into work? We don't know. That is the second limitation. And under what conditions heat is converted, not specified. So these are the demerits or the limitations of the first law. So my dear students, today we studied a most fundamental law called zeroth law, which establishes thermal equilibrium between two systems. First law, which explains how heat is supplied to a system and utilized for what purposes, and limitations of the first law. So with this, my next session, a very important derivation, work done by a gas during isothermal process. Until then, thank you.